Past week, there's been a lot of discussion around Kris Tyson, one of Mr. Beast's oldest friends, and like what his first subscriber on his channel, I believe. Literally, the discussion is around him coming out as trans and starting to take HRT, and a lot of people have had their own mixed opinions on that. And for the most part, that's okay. They're an adult; they can make the best decision for themselves, and no one should really care. That is until Sunny V2 made a video on them, and this video is something else, honestly. I don't think Sunny V2 is trying to be a bad person. I think he's just like caught up in the content cycle of trying to get something out as fast as possible. But some of the things that he says in the video and some of the takes that he has are very, very stupid. Almost making it seem as if Kris is not a person, but just another cog, an asset in the wheel of the Mr. Beast machine. Yeah, so I thought it would be interesting to go over the video and gauge people's interest on it with my chat. God, Sunny V2 made a video that everyone fucking is like shitting on. Okay, it's not that bad of a ratio, chat, actually. 241k likes to 177k dislikes. Essentially, what's happening, chat? Kris Tyson of Mr. Beast came out that he is transitioning. And people, a lot of people are supportive, but Sunny V2 kind of, I don't want to say he's like a bad person or anything, because he might not be a bad person. He was probably just rushing to get like content out as clickbaity as possible, and so he just rushed to get this content out there, and he just said some things probably that he didn't mean to go that way. I don't want to like call him a horrible person just yet until he clarifies a little bit, but like he essentially looked at Kris transitioning as like a asset. He looked at Kris like he's an asset, not a person. He looked at him as if he's like just an object or a thing for Mr. Beast's career, and not like an actual human person. And so that's what people are getting upset with him about. Yeah, what Sunny V2 probably doesn't realize is that Kris is literally Mr. Beast's childhood best friend, and he was literally Mr. Beast's first subscriber. So like, Mr. Beast knows, or Jimmy knows everything there is about Kris and what's happening in his life, you know. And he probably helped him out and told him to go for it as well, because they're friends. So like, I don't know. That's why people are upset with. That's why people are upset with Sunny. We should watch this video. We should watch this video and go through it real quick. Why Kris will soon be a nightmare for Mr. Beast. A nightmare. God. Let's see.
The Kris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for Mr. Beast's brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over.
It may also provide some unique benefits. I don't like how this is worded. Kris transitioning could be a disaster for the brand, or it could be a benefit for the brand. In Sunny V2's mind, everything is only for the brand. They are not human beings. They are all just for the brand. That's it. It's God.
Some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the Mr. Beast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Kris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude. Yet beginning in 2022, Kris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as "I finally got my nails done."
He started looking more and more like a tame speedrunner.
His facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I quote look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?"
There's nothing wrong with this. I do notice that when people do end up transitioning, they always want some sort of validation, or this tweet is like he's looking for comments on whether or not he like people can notice the difference, or like they notice his transitioning, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Any resemblance, prompting replies such as "You went from man to boy." Kris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better." Yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Kris was becoming more
Lethal Weapon, dude, this fucking claws.
With
Dude, you see those nails? I call them the fucking mole nails, right? You know the little fucking ground moles that dig around in the dirt? That's what those
the
are.
same kind of look.
I don't like when people have those on.
Beast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Kris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Kris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Kris's nails. Kris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Kris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now,
God, chat, that is such a fucking stupid take. Holy shit! There's a thing on TikTok that people are saying it's the Carl effect. They think that all of the changing from Kris has been like because of Carl. Even though we don't know what Carl actually identifies as, or well, no, he identifies as a guy, but we don't know if he's like bi or anything or gay or anything. But people are just like, blaming Carl for Kris's transitioning and shit like that, which is stupid as fuck. Because Kris announced that he was bi like fucking years back on Twitter. Actually, like when he got his wife, he announced he was bi, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Kris had come out as bisexual years before he and
Yeah. Oh, there you go. 2020.
Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Kris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Kris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his
I fucking love this. This is like a masterclass in YouTube, dude. This is a masterclass in YouTube. If you want to get the monkey brain going, right? You want people to focus on your video, make sure there's red. Always put red, always put a circle. Even though it's quite clear that what we're supposed to be looking at, make sure you put a fucking giant ass red circle right on top of it.
Post in which he'd painted his nails. Kris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Kris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end.
You don't know that.
And Kris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails.
Why are man buns... Man buns aren't fit. They're called man buns for a fucking reason. What? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, the nails I give you, but the man buns are nothing.
As the criticism continued to pile, Kris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Kris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before.
What? He said double down? What do you mean he doubled down? I don't like the implications of the use of double down. Holy shit. As if he knows he's doing something bad, but he's still gonna double down into it. Oh my god. And he said it shows up looking like this. Although it is kind of weird how like Kris is way off here by himself and everyone else is like together, but it also makes sense considering Mr. Beast is with his girlfriend right here. Oh, wait, is this his girlfriend? Wait, Chad, do you know who this is?
Double down.
I do not know who this is. It looks like Mr. Beast's girlfriend, but yeah, no, don't know who that is.
On his feminine image.
I don't know. Is that Mr. Beast's girlfriend? I know he had one at one point and they broke up and she kept trying to take money from him. I don't know who this lady is. I don't think it's his girlfriend. The base white woman character, woman number 5 in the Fallout character creation. Yeah. I don't think guy painting their nails is that odd. I've known a few people who did it every once in a while. Also, yeah, my hair goes down to the middle of my back. See, a lot of guys have long hair and a lot of guys paint their nails. That doesn't mean anything. If I could, I would have fucking long as fuck hair and paint my nails. I mean, I do paint my nails black, but if I could have long hair, I'd do it. It doesn't mean I'm fucking transitioning. Those are completely different things.
image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Kris
we know what
expand on
HRT
this
is.
by stating, informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through
GNC? Gender non-conforming, okay.
to get life-saving, gender-affirming healthcare in a first-world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies, which received a positive response from both Carl and Mr. Beast, who wrote, "Got you, I did."
See? Look, at this point, chat, Carl and Mr. Beast have both said supportive words. There should be no more fucking drama about it. No one else should be saying anything, because those are the two most important people, right? If Mr. Beast is okay with it, if Carl's okay with it, then why are people fucking making drama out of it at this point?
Did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend. While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times.
Weak man, that is stupid shit. Dude, it's like people don't realize Chris's son has Kris as a father or a parental figure. Like, holy shit, he's going to be pampered and have like the best fucking life. He's going to literally have money and everything that he could fucking want, and a good parent that's going to be there, right? Just because he fucking transitioned doesn't mean he's going to be leaving his life. That is silly.
Kris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my
True.
child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker." Kris
Yeah, true. Like, I'd rather them transition than be a fucking depressed, fucking, like, shithole of a parent, right? Like, if he transitions and it makes him happy and makes him actually be able to take care of his son better, isn't that better than him being, like, fucking depressed in a relationship he doesn't want to be in, that he fucking, like, breaks years down the line because he literally just doesn't want to be there anymore? You know, it's like, what? I'd rather have one happy parent. I'd rather have one happy parent, right? Because that's what I have in real life. I'd rather have one happy parent than two absolutely fucking miserable, depressed, like, lumps as parents. Like, that's just like, yeah.
Kris's response received some positivity, such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life."
Yeah, having even one depressed parent can absolutely ruin a child, right? It just makes a really bad fucking like living situation. Why would you want that? People are saying he should not have left his family. He would have grown up to be depressed, fucking having a depressed father, and like all that things moves down onto him. It's like, no, there's no point. I mean, yeah, it sucks that they had to fucking split the family, but like in the end, it ends up better for them all. Kris gets what he wants. The kid ends up with an actual stable thing instead of a depressed, broken, unbalanced one. And the wife gets to go do whatever she wants. She doesn't have the kid anymore. She doesn't have the kid, but like, I don't know, something.
As well as, "I adore that, I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart."
Zest? Holy shit. That's the first time I've actually heard that word. Zesty? Oh my god.
At school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone.
Okay, this is just stupid. He'll get torn apart at school. It won't want to have friends around his house. A life full of differences and being alone. Do these people realize that the current generation of children are probably like mostly growing up with LGBTQ, either parents or fucking like supports, or like it being the norm for them? The only people who are going to have problem with it are people with parents like you, Craig C. Like kids with parents like you who teach them that they shouldn't accept stuff like this are going to be the only ones with problem, right? Because everyone else is going to be supportive and not care. But the only bad ones are going to be you. Jesus.
Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Kris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from Mr. Beast as well as Nolan and Carl.
Yo, even
However,
YouTube,
these
holy
comments
shit.
also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. Mr. Beast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life." In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Kris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic.
That's not a fucking bad dislike ratio.
A feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Kris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look,
That's
they
a
drew
sick
you.
jacket.
Jimmy, they
What the
drew you
fuck?
so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for.
This
What?
is just like you.
Wait, who is that?
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
Who's this? Why is there fan art? Who's this character?
This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Kris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really
Sick
going to
fucking Ollie.
happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Kris's reputation and influence. However, if Kris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current Mr. Beast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Kris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add.
I don't think Kris transitioning is going to change his personality in the slightest. I think he's still going to be the same Kris, just with a different, style.
Any value to the videos. Mr. Beast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the video.
Did he just fucking relate Kris to a character in a show? Holy shit. You are so fucking detached from reality.
Although, as we have seen, a situation like Kris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the Mr. Beast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my...
Forced to agree with Kris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for Mr. Beast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Kris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation.
I don't think he's in a fucking... He's not in a situation. This is his friend. Mr. Beast... Jimmy knew what was happening probably years before we knew anything, right? He'd already had discussions with him about it. If he had any issue with it or anything, he would have already said it to him. Like, off of camera. There is no issue here. There's no situation. It's not like he sprung it on him out of nowhere.
pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the
Oh,
harsh
Jacob, I
label
don't know.
of being
Never
a
mind, not Jacob
nightmare.
Kid.
Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Kris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Kris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer Mr. Beast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Kris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Kris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Kris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Yeah, this is